Hey y'all, how are y'all? Happy Thursday. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Reunion Part 2. And I know that y'all see that title, and you already know that I will be giving Bronwyn her lashings because, girl, what is going on? To say that Bronwyn started off with so much promise, so much hope, and for her to let us down like this, I'm like, it pains me to say that I think Heather was right all along that Bronwyn is low-key a weirdo because, mama, the stories keep changing. What is going on? But we're going to talk about all that, guys. It was a very, very, very touching ending with Mary. We talked about her segment, what's going on. The husbands were a bit spicy. I mean, yeah, I was here for all of it, guys. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to Miss Bronwyn Newport because Bronwyn, baby, there's something going on. Something in the milk ain't clean. You have a hard time telling the truth. And it's troubling. I don't understand why you can't just ask a simple question. And I just want to say shout out to y'all because I remember that episode when I did a live recap for the episode where Bronwyn, when they were on the boat and Bronwyn was crying about the affair. And a few of y'all said, Brooke, I don't believe this story at all. I think that she's doing that because she's been caught being a two-faced, being a weirdo, and she's telling this story for sympathy. And you know what? I think you're right because this second part proved that. I said, oh yeah, something in the milk ain't clean with Miss Bronwyn. So I just want to give you your props. Baby, when you guys are right, you guys are right. So again, shout out to you because a lot of y'all said, Brooke, I don't believe her. I think she's lying. She wants sympathy on that boat because she knows that she's wrong. And that's the easiest way to get everybody on her side to tell a sob story. And that's what that was. Yeah, I was riding for her hard, honey, okay? I was riding. Oh, you said Bronwyn was always playing in our faces. She was given a pass because of fashion, which is horrendous. Bronwyn and Mia went to the same school of lies. Listen, Bronwyn is gonna have to get it together for season 6 because this ain't it, honey. Listen, let's talk about it. Wait, Bronwyn is a snake, child. Todd looked confused. Can we talk about it? Can we please talk about it? Todd was sitting up there looking like, wait, what? When did that happen? Child. Listen, I was riding hard for her, okay? Baby. Yeah, more and more lies keep coming out. Listen, child, there's something going on with Bronwyn. I'm not here for it. But y'all, with all that being said, y'all, we don't have a minute to spare. Let's just get right on into it, okay? So, we open up the second part, and it's the continuation of Todd talking about how upset he is with Lisa Barlow. So he's like, for you to bring up issues that were very personal and sensitive to Gwen was unacceptable to me. So now Lisa interrupts and she's like, Todd, I understand where you're coming from. I get that. But, and like she can't even finish her sentence because Todd interrupts her. And he says, you were asserting that Bronwyn had a miscarriage. And now John pipes up because you can't say anything to his wife, all right? Even if Lisa is wrong, John is going to have her back because that's the kind of husband that he is. So John's like, you need to watch your tone. So Todd says, no, you need to watch your tone. So now John's like, no, it's a friendly environment. Like, watch your tone. Now you could tell that Todd is not used to somebody like, piping up and giving him the same energy because he was shook. I thought that he was going to, go back and forth. But, John low-key shut him up. He was like, yeah, again, you watch your tone. Now, John, I love how supportive you are of Lisa, but I just don't like how you refuse to see where your wife is wrong. You swear that she's always right, and she's not always right. Your wife does put her foot in her mouth a lot. And you just, you bypass that. And it's very annoying. And again, I'm not saying that a husband should not have his wife's back. He should. I love that he's supportive. He rides with his wife. But my thing is, it's not going to hurt to say, hey, babe, just apologize and let's keep it moving. That's my opinion. Oh, you said John is a weirdo? Damn. John looked and sounded stupid because Todd did not even have a tone. Yeah, I didn't think that Todd had a tone with Lisa either. I just think that John is so hypersensitive about anybody saying anything to his wife. So if you say something does not agree with what she feels, he gets mad and assumes that it's a tone. But yeah, I did not detect a tone. And I'm very sensitive about tone of voice. And I'm saying that I didn't sense a tone when Todd was speaking, in my opinion. He had the same tone he always has, monotone. Yes, I agree. So now, Lisa says that she totally understands why it will be extremely hurtful and offensive when you say things on camera like that, because they live on camera. And now Bronwyn jumps in because, Bronwyn low-key wanted a moment, in my opinion. So Lisa's like, look, girl, I already talked to you. I apologize to you. So if you want to put on a show, that's on you. So Bronwyn's like, I'm not putting on a show. That's how I feel. I'm just telling you that. So now Lisa says, my intentions were good, and that was the hardest conversation I've ever had. So now Andy says to Todd, I just want to say your protectiveness over Gwen was very admirable. It was very sweet. So Todd says, thank you. And now we get to the feud between Angie and Meredith. So Andy reads a viewer question asking Angie about the gay rumors surrounding Shawn, her husband. So the question reads, why are you holding Meredith accountable for the gay rumors when all she said was there were rumors, and you never held Whitney accountable for getting Monica to spill the rumor on camera? So Angie says, well, I know that there were off-camera conversations about me, and I can't prove it, but Meredith swore she didn't play a part in it, so I have no choice but to move on. So now you have Lisa, Heather, and Meredith chime in at once. And Lisa's like, but Angie, it goes further than what happened at the Greek Easter, because Monica did tell you that it wasn't Meredith. So now Andy's like, let Meredith speak, because they're all talking at once. And now Meredith says, you spent 2 years accusing me of something that I did not do, relentlessly insisting that I did it. So then she says, in return, you've done all these things to me as retaliation. You've talked poorly about my business. You've talked poorly about my marriage. The point is, you've accused me of talking poorly about your home and your business, but you've done that to me. I'm going to be so honest with y'all. They spent way too much time on this Angie versus Meredith feud. Let me know if I'm off base here, but did anybody else feel like we spent the bulk of this second half dealing with this? And what really bothered me was the fact that we're bringing up stuff from season 4 in regards to Monica Garcia. I do not want to talk about Monica. Do not say that lady's name. Don't even let her think that she has a chance to come back on this show. That lady is a weirdo. Please keep her off of our screens. So why are we even talking about her? And I know that I get on Andy a lot for being annoyed at these reunions. And while I think that it is a problem, because I feel like the reunions sometimes feel like a letdown because he's so disengaged, but I did understand his frustration with this segment, because why are we beating a dead horse? I was over this argument last season. I'm over it now. I need for Meredith and Angie to either stop talking to each other completely, or just, it's annoying. But yeah, I was just like, it's enough already. They spent way too much time on this. Let's leave this in the past. Pay Monica dust. And you know that Monica was on Instagram Live chopping at the bit that they're saying her name again, because that woman wants back on this show. So I'm like, don't even give her that. Don't give her an inch. Do not give that woman any thought. Don't give her any breath. Don't give her any energy. But I was just too annoyed. Yes, they spent way too much time on this. It could have been brief and kept it moving. Exactly. It was just too much. We have Angie saying, well, you've talked about my home, and Meredith says, well, I'm not doing that stuff. So Shawn jumps in And I think that Shawn is so cute. Like, he's just so sweet. But Shawn jumps in and he's like, Meredith, you were caught on film talking about how Monica could take our home. So Meredith is like, do you honestly think that I would do that? So now Andy's asking Meredith, how has Angie spoken poorly about her home? And Meredith says she shades me every chance she gets. Like, she says I'm in a rental, or she calls it my Airbnb. So you have Andy being low-key shady, and he's like, but don't you rent though? Now Meredith says, yes, I do, but it's said in a very negative light. So Meredith makes it clear for the 10,000th time that she only lives in Utah half of the year. So she does a winter ski rental every single year, hence why she's always in a new house. Now, I thought it was kind of disingenuous of Andy to play dumb and say, well, what's so negative about that then if you rent? You know when somebody's being shady. And you know that Angie saying, oh, you know, she's in her little Airbnb or she's in a rental and I own my home, that's shade. And Andy, you have been doing this now for almost 20 years. So you know what shade is. So I didn't like how you were acting like, oh, you know, well, how is that shady? You know good and well that somebody throwing out, oh, well, you know, I own and you rent, that's shade, especially Angie's tone of voice. And I love Angie down, but Angie, you're being shady when you talk about she's in a rental and you own your home. Like, let's not do that. So Meredith says that, you know, it's clearly meant to be nasty and shady because of the way that she says it. So now Andy reads another viewer question to Meredith, and the question reads, Meredith, why did you expect an apology from Shawn when you did leverage your son Brooke's sexuality so you wouldn't receive further scrutiny for the false allegations that you made about Shawn? Oh my God, this part went on forever and a day. I said, oh my God, can we please move on? But Meredith says that that's impossible because she's not the one who made the allegations. So now we have Angie and Meredith going back and forth about that. And now Meredith says, does anybody know what the word leverage means? Do you guys need the definition? So now Angie says, Shawn was asked by a gay podcaster about it and said, don't you feel? And it appears that she's using her son as defense. So Meredith is like, look, girl, he didn't say that because I have the whole transcript right here. I listened to the whole entire podcast. So we have Shawn jumping back in, and now we have Meredith reading the excerpt of what was said. So now we have Angie asking if they can play what the gay podcaster said. Like, she says, well, can you play the question that he asked Shawn in the first place? So Andy says, we have it. They play it. And shout out to Behind the Velvet Rope, because they're shout out to him. I like his channel. I watch him on YouTube, and his podcast is really good. But they play the clip of Behind the Velvet Ropes podcast, and now you have Andy saying, well, let's be honest, the podcaster asked a question that was very leading. So at this point, Andy is just annoyed because he even says, is this what this fight's about? And Angie says, yeah. So now Andy goes on to say, this honestly seems like a huge waste of time. So now you have Meredith upset, and she's like, okay, Andy, if you feel like that. But I'm thinking, Meredith, you have to admit that we are talking about something that is 2 years old. We have all checked out. Honestly, a lot of us have not even, we don't even think about season 4 like that. So we're still rehashing and beating the same dead horse. Like, it's enough already. And again, Andy needs to do a better job with giving us a poker face and hiding when he's bored. But like, I understood it because I was getting bored too. Like, we're going in circles here. Like, it's enough. Yes, you were checked all the way out. Yeah, let it go. I was like, oh, it's enough already. Like, can we please move on to something else? In all seriousness, this section between Meredith and Angie and Shawn, that should have only been like 2 minutes. They could have focused on a lot more and not that. They gave that, I was looking, they gave that whole entire argument like 15 minutes. So I'm not going to hold you guys. I might be skipping past a lot of this because it was too much. I don't care. I don't want to bring up Monica's name. So now, we have Meredith saying that don't take the bait then, and Shawn gaslit her and denied saying it. So now Andy's asking Shawn, does he think that Meredith started the rumor? So Shawn makes it clear that while it was happening, he never said anything bad about Brooks. He says, I would never disrespect your kids. And again, he did not say anything bad about Brooks. All he said was, I do believe that Meredith is using her son's sexuality as a way to deflect from what she did to me. That's not speaking bad about a child. And also, one more point, Brooks is a grown adult. Like, he's 24, 25. If he wants to insert himself and get involved in his mom's drama, he can't be mad if a castmate or their husband says something. He's an adult. I'm just saying. But we have Shawn saying that was his perception at the time. He says, I did not know you well enough to trust you. And now Meredith says that Angie was told at Lisa's après-ski event last season and at Greek Easter at Angie's house that she was not the one who brought this up. It was Monica. So they literally spent 12 minutes on going back and forth about whether Meredith was the one who started the rumor or not. Like, it's nonstop back and forth. You have Lisa and Heather trying to defend Meredith, that it was not Meredith, it was Monica. And now we see Meredith's, like, she's annoyed, right? So she says, Andy, y'all need to play the tapes back right now because I did not come here for this. Either play the tapes back vindicating me, or I'm storming off and I'm leaving. And mind you, Meredith gets up at this point and then she's about to leave. Like, she's pissed. So she's I mean, it was to the point where she was like threatening Andy, like, if you don't play these tapes to vindicate me, we're going to have an issue. So she says, again, you need to play the tapes of Monica saying at the après-ski event last season that I did not say it. So Andy says the control room does have the tapes. They play the tapes back, and we do see Monica tell her story change. At Lisa's event last season, she did tell Angie, oh yeah, Meredith told me. And then at the Greek Easter party, she goes back and tells Angie, oh, by the way, I heard this from the streets, not from Meredith. So yes, Meredith is finally vindicated. She was not the one who started these rumors about Shawn. Great. But I'm gonna say this though, Meredith. When you sign up to be on The Real Housewives, you have to take what comes to you, and you've got to stop with all this I'm walking off, because I didn't like that. I feel like if any other housewife did that, they would be fired. And I feel like you could have just said, look, Andy, we're not going to move on until you play those tapes back. That would have sufficed a lot better than you saying, no, if you don't do that, then I'm leaving. It's like, girl, okay, leave, and you won't get this paycheck then, because y'all know that they get bonuses when they film the reunion. So I'm like, girl, okay, you can walk off and you will not be getting your bonus, which is a cute 6 figures. So you can go ahead and try me if you want to. But yeah, I didn't like that. So Meredith has been vindicated. Monica did say on camera last season that it was not Meredith. She heard it from the streets. So we can finally move the F on. Thank God. What did y'all say? You said Meredith does not bring enough to do all that. Like MC Deborah said, the icon, you ain't fab, you not fab like that to be doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's like, Meredith, girl, stop. You're like, stop. Like, I need her to stop with all that threatening to walk off. Girl, either do it or just sit down. But I feel like if any other housewife let a black housewife threaten Andy like that, like, oh, if you don't play these tapes back, I'm going to walk off, they will be fired right then and there. Pink slip already as they're walking out the door. You know what I'm saying? I said, child. So we're off of that, thank God. And now we start talking about the fight at Angie and Shawn's anniversary party, the Mob Wives themed anniversary party. And remember how John and Justin almost got into a fight, right? They almost came to blows over their wives. So Andy's like, when you watched it back, how'd you guys feel? So John Barlow starts it off and he says that he was embarrassed because he said his second reaction, it wasn't to start a fight, it was to diffuse the situation. And he says, I did apologize to Justin. So now Justin says, I didn't raise my voice at Lisa. I just leaned forward and I asked her, oh, what is Whitney lying about? So he says, the first time was a bit aggressive and I did apologize to Lisa, but the second time there was no aggression. So now he says, that's why John's reaction threw me off. So now he jokes and says, actually, it was a lot worse in my head, but watching it back on TV was actually better. So John and Justin are good, right? You guys know where I stand with when that whole thing went down. I feel like Lisa had no right to get in Justin's face like that. I thought that was out of order. And for John to act like, the husbands don't get involved. Yeah, but the wives can't include the husbands in it. For her to walk up to somebody else's husband and get in his face like that and call his wife a liar, how else do you think that he would react? And that's a lie for Lisa and John to say, oh, well, if it was the reverse, John would have just walked away. I don't believe that, because the way John goes so hard for Lisa, especially when she's wrong, I can only imagine if Whitney came up in his face, cursing at him, saying that your wife is an effing liar, he would have gone off on Whitney too. So again, I just feel like, Lisa, next time, leave the husbands out of it. And if you want to walk up to any husband, walk up to your husband and call it a day. But I don't think that it's fair that you are going to force Justin for an apology when you started the whole mess going up to him in the first place. Just my 2 cents. Right? Okay. So now we get to the whole thing. Andy brings up the whole mess that happened in the season finale when they were in Mexico. Andy's asking John, how did he feel about that whole threesome rumor that Whitney brought up? And so he's like, have you ever heard that rumor before? So John says he's never heard that before. And now you have Whitney. Did I skip something? Okay. So you have John saying he's never heard that rumor before. And now we have Andy asking Lisa about how she associated Shawn's name with circle jerks. So Lisa's like, yes, I did. And also, I just did that to let you know, like, how would you feel if somebody said that about your husband? So then she says, and by the way, I just found out what circle jerks were like 2 weeks ago. I said, sure, Lisa. So now Andy says that, it was an analogy. Lisa's like, yeah, it was an analogy. And I'm like, analogies and housewives don't mix. We remember when Jackie Goldschneider used that analogy about Gia, you know what I'm saying? Hitting the slopes that one season on Jersey. Yeah. And Teresa and her were feuding all season long. A mess. So now we have Whitney jumping in, and Whitney's like, John, I just want to say I'm sorry for bringing you into all this. And the meanest thing that I've ever done to Lisa is talk about your marriage. And I only did that because I wanted to burn that with you because I apologize. And then she says, the thing that I regret most about our friendship is saying stuff about your marriage. So Lisa says, I appreciate that. And now Whitney looks John in his eyes and she says, again, John, I just want to apologize. Was it just me, or did anybody feel like John was so over it? Because he was like, yeah, it's cool. I accept your apology. Like, girl, whatever. I just said, Whitney, you have an obsession with Lisa Barlow. I've said that many times before, but you know good and well that you did that to cause strife in their marriage. And that was a very nasty way for you to get that rumor out there. So for you to try to cover it up and say, oh, no, I just did that because I've done that in the past and I want to burn that part. No, stop. You can stop that lie right now. You purposely brought that rumor up because you wanted that circulating out in the air. Because you just have this vendetta against Lisa. It's weird. And wait, may I point something out? Did anybody notice Whitney's body language all throughout the reunion? she's facing the opposite way. Her body is going this way and everybody's turned to Andy. I said, I don't know. That body language was very telling. It felt like this might be her last season. I just got that impression for some reason because it was just really weird. She looked like she wanted to not be a part of the group. Because again, why are you sitting in the opposite direction? They're all facing Andy and you're facing the other way, like you're facing the door. It was very strange. Very strange. So we're over that. And now we get to Andy asking Justin, why didn't he feel the need to have Whitney's back after Seth called her a biatch when they were in Palm Springs? So Justin says that he had committed himself to not getting into drama. He did a meditation. And then he says, but looking back on it, rewatching the episode, I do regret not having a voice in that moment. Now, did y'all catch how Whitney looked really pissed? Like she looked really irritated that her husband just let her out to dry like that. I caught that. I said, yeah, she probably cursed Justin out for not having her back like that. Oh, you guys are saying she couldn't see over the dress beside her? Bronwyn's dress was not that big where she couldn't see Andy now. I don't know. I kind of feel like Whitney was just doing that because she wanted attention. I don't know. Because you could see over Bronwyn's dress. It wasn't like Bronwyn's dress was covering her eyes. You said Whitney was fighting with Bronwyn's dress. Bronwyn's dress was boxing Whitney out. Bronwyn was wearing wings. I'm screaming. You said Bronwyn's dress was chasing Whitney off that couch. Yeah, I think Whitney was being dramatic as well. I think so too, because you could have definitely seen through, you could have seen over Bronwyn's dress, in my opinion. Hey, Leonardo Decapitated. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, Brooke, hot take. Heather's obsession with the Monica situation is because deep down, Monica helped give Heather one of her only real dramatic moments on television. Oh, that's a good point. Yes, because Miss Heather wore that receipts, timeline, proof, screenshots. She wore that out all last year. And she was trying to bring it into 2025 too. We all said, girl, keep that over there. We're done with that. The moment is over. But I do agree with that. I think that Heather might secretly want her back on because she provides a storyline. And Heather's always looking for some iconic moment because she's so thirsty and she's so addicted to this newfound fame that she has. So yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you again for the super chat. Oh, you said she was crammed. She was crammed on. They were all crammed on that couch too. She was avoiding Bronwyn's dress. You said wearing hot dog suits. Hell nah. Heather gave a Meryl Streep monologue, the most produced finale. Heather is dehydrated. Heather is stuck in high school. I agree. So we're talking about the whole Seth and the biatch comment that he made to Whitney. So, Andy's asking Seth, what did he think? So Seth says, I thought it was aggressive watching it back, but you have to understand, we started day drinking on Todd's private jet at 7 a.m. I was feeling impaired. Then he goes on to say that he felt like Shawn being dishonest, talking about his son, it just all came to a head. So now he goes on to say that there's never an excuse for name calling, but if I see John Barlow on the street, I'm like, hey, biatch, because that's how I speak. Now, Seth, I know good and damn well that you, sir, are not walking up to another grown man saying, hey, biatch. Like, let's be so for real. You as a heterosexual man at your big age, you are not going up to another heterosexual man talking about some, hey, biatch. Because I can assure you that it'll be oops upside your head on the street if you walk up to another grown man saying that. But I just said, you can say that, you can stop lying. I just said, Seth, you sound like an idiot. Just say that you are wrong and let's move on. But for you to say, oh yeah, that's how I talk. I say that to everybody. If I see John, and even John was looking at you like, I wish you would talk about some, hey, biatch to me on the sidewalk. He was lying right through his teeth. I just said, oh my gosh, Seth, are you okay? And you have Meredith sitting there with that stupid smile on her face. I said, Meredith, girl, just tell your husband that he's wrong and let's wrap this up. He probably would say that white boy humor is different. Whitney isn't his boy, though. Well, no, yes, white man humor is different, but it's not that different that you gonna say that. I don't know. And I just don't think that John Barlow would sit up there and laugh at Seth. I'll say this. I don't think that John Barlow does not give me that he'd be okay with Seth talking about some hey biatch on the street. I'm gonna just leave it there. I just said, thank you. I don't even go to women saying, hey, bitch, and I'm gay. Okay, listen, like, what is Seth talking about? Seth is a straight man saying, biatch, get out of my face, because my gay ass was like, what? Y'all have me screaming. Seth ain't calling nobody that. Exactly. He's not calling a soul that. Y'all have me in this chat screaming, okay? Yes, Seth sounded so stupid. Exactly. I said, sir, please. So now you have you just have to laugh. It's just so dumb. So Seth is going around and around the mulberry bush about why he says biatch to Whitney. So now Whitney tries to jump in because Whitney wanted that apology. So now Meredith jumps in and she says, well, he said that because you were inserting yourself in the conversation. So Whitney's like, okay, that's fine, but I'm talking to your husband. I'm talking to Seth. I said, okay, Whitney. I said, let her know. So now you have Whitney saying, Seth, I'm just asking you. So now Seth says, it wasn't intended the way Angie just called my wife a bitch twice. So he's like, bitch, bitch. I said, okay, now you want to have all this bass in your voice? Okay. So now Meredith is like, wait, she called me a bitch? And Seth says, yes, she did. While I was sitting here, she called you it twice. So now we have Meredith with the dramatics, and she says, oh, well, that's abusive according to you and Shawn. So I guess that you're an abuser then. I said, oh my gosh. I said, Meredith, girl, baby, if you don't leave this show and join the nearest soap opera, then I know something. Because, girl, I said, you know good and damn well that, first of all, Meredith, you know that your husband is wrong, because what really kills me is if John Barlow, if Todd, if Justin Rose called you a biatch, you would be playing victim. You'd be getting out the world's tiniest violin, talking about that for several seasons straight. We know how dramatic Meredith is. The fact that you can't just say, Seth, tell Whitney I'm sorry and let's wrap this up. The fact that you're going to sit up there now and blame everybody, and now you want to call Angie and Shawn abusers. I just said, oh my gosh. I said, Meredith is just a mess. I said, my God. We would never hear. Yeah, we would hear about it till season 12. Exactly. She would have it put in the notes app. Exactly. I was just so surprised that Meredith is sitting up there co-signing her husband calling another woman a biatch, but yet let somebody else's husband talk to her, say one thing about her. Now he's the worst, it's the worst man in the world. What kind of man does this? Who talks to a woman like that? Stop. So anyhow, Seth finally apologizes, but it's a very half-assed apology. He's like, I said I'm sorry. I said, Seth, we didn't hear it, but whatever. You finally said I'm sorry. Let's just wrap this up. So now we move on to Todd and Bronwyn. I need y'all to help me in this section. I'm serious. I want you to hold my hand, and I want y'all to help me. I'm going to be in that chat looking for your help, because I am confused, okay? So if you would not mind doing me a favor on this fine Thursday, I truly appreciate you. Andy brings up the affair. Andy says, Todd, what was your reaction to Bronwyn sharing with the ladies in Mexico the story of your emotional affair? Todd says, I have to apologize because I haven't seen it. So I said, come again? What? So Todd, you saw all the mess on camera about Lisa talking about the whole mess with Gwen and the grandparents, but you're telling me that you didn't see the episode where she revealed your affair? Okay. Just bear with me, y'all. Just bear with me. So Bronwyn speaks up and she says, oh yeah, we talked about it because it was really hard to watch. Was it just me, or all throughout this segment, Bronwyn looked like a child afraid of getting a spanking when she got home? Because her vibe was off. I said, Bronwyn girl, you need help. Something in the milk ain't clean. So Todd says anything that she's shared is more than I want her to share. So now we have Seth asking if it was an emotional affair. So Bronwyn is like, and I just said, girl, are you okay? So now Bronwyn says, I wouldn't even call it an emotional affair. A lot of people that Todd has conversations with, some conversations went a little further than I would have with somebody. Now, Heather, while you are not my favorite cast member on this show, I was on your side because, baby, the way I was confused. Heather jumps in, and I was glad that she did. I said, Heather, girl, again, I don't really see it for you any other time, but this time you ate that one little thing. So Heather says, Bronwyn, come on, babe. When we were on that boat, you wept and said that he had been disloyal and that you caught him in an affair. And I said, exactly right, because that's what Bronwyn said. Bronwyn was on that boat sobbing for sympathy, okay? So Heather says, I rallied hard for you because of what you told me that he did. So did he do it or did he not do it? Like, please answer the question. Bronwyn and Todd are sitting there silent. So Bronwyn says, I think the conversation with this woman went too far. So now Heather says, but you said it was infidelity. So now you have Bronwyn trying to flip the script, and she says, when I told you this, it wasn't happening in real time. I said, we know that, dummy. You said that this happened when Gwen was little. We know that this happened in the past. You see how Bronwyn tries to flip things and get you off of the original point? Because what does that have to do with anything? We knew that the affair happened years ago. Don't try to change the topic. The topic is, did this man cheat on you or did he not? Because you're saying you said something different on vacation. Now we're here at the reunion and it's a different story. What is going on? I'm going to read your theories in the chat. Just give me a minute and I'm going to tell you how I feel, okay? And I'm sure that we're probably all on one accord. So now Bronwyn gives us this self-pity story that we've heard 1,000,001 times. And Bronwyn, I've said this before, but you need to go and see the lady. Because if I hear you talk about your low self-esteem and your low self-worth, I'm going to scream. So Bronwyn says, I have an issue where she doesn't feel good about herself. And, being a single mom, ostracized from the church, that's contributed to why she feels that way about herself. Bronwyn, we already knew this. You're not telling us any new information. We already knew that what happened to you at 19 and your family not talking to you and the church kicking you out and BYU, getting kicked out of college. We know that has played a big part in why you feel so poorly about yourself now. We know that. The question is, did he cheat on you or not? That is the question. So Lisa jumps in and says, this is where it's confusing because you held me accountable for not being like F Todd, and then you had a conversation alluding to, well, maybe I can relate and me and Meredith can relate because we've also cheated. I hugged you and I let you know I'm here for you, but I'm not going to talk badly about Todd. Now, let me just stop right here because Bronwyn, you owe Lisa an apology for that because you sat up there after that boat ride talking about, oh, Lisa and Meredith did not comfort me and they were on Todd's side. I can't believe them. Why did she treat me like that? Did you not say that? Did you not say that? So now for you to twist your mouth and say, well, it wasn't that big of a deal and I wouldn't call it an affair. I would just say that he was talking to somebody, but it's really because I'm insecure and I don't feel good about myself. Stop. Bronwyn, you've lost me. I rode so hard for you in the beginning, but I'm sorry, Miss Mamas. I think that you're a liar. And I'm going to just tell you my theory and then we'll read some of what you're saying, what you all are saying. I believe one of two things. This whole entire story is a lie, or he did cheat and now he ripped her a new asshole at home and she has to now backpedal and lie for him to cover up. Either way, it does not change the fact that Bronwyn has all these stories and can't keep them straight. That's my main issue. But there's a part of me though that feels like maybe he didn't cheat because there were certain times where the camera panned to him and he looked like he was genuinely confused at what they were talking about. So now I'm thinking, I really don't know. I don't know what to believe. It's either one of those two things. But the main point remains that whether he did or didn't cheat, Bronwyn is a liar. That's how I feel about it. I don't understand why we can't just get a simple, straight answer from you. It's just going around and around. The whole jewelry thing, you can't even be honest about that. You said that you bought the jewelry, then you said that you didn't buy the jewelry, then you said that you bought a smaller version of the necklace, then it's, oh yeah, I never bought anything. Girl, you can't keep, you just lie. You just lie. There's something not right with you. But I do want to read what y'all are saying. You say he looked at her, he looked so mad at her. I think he cheats and it's an agreement of their relationship. I don't think she's lying. I think she's just overwhelmed. Well, Housewives is not the platform to be overwhelmed. You need to have your story tight. I don't think that Bronwyn is cut out for reality TV. If I'm being honest, I think that Bronwyn's low self-esteem is the reason why she's struggling right now because she's trying to be friends with everybody, but she wants to be accepted. She has too much going on. She wants to fit in so badly. And because of that need to fit in and feel like a cool girl, she's self-sabotaging herself. It's just, this is not the time to be overwhelmed. If she needs to go regroup and maybe come back 2 years from now when she's together. I think he did it. He got mad at her for telling. That's why she's so tense when he's around. I can see that too. He gave a whole ring for cheating. No, I think he's confused because he didn't see it all just what she let him. Not another Bryn, my Lord. I don't think he knew Gwen was the one who saw his iPad. He cheated, they're lying. I'm screaming. He seemed like they're going to have a conversation later. Oh, absolutely. She looked like a little girl scared to get a spanking. She looked like, how when you were younger and you told some business that you had no business telling to somebody, like at school, or you get around your mom's friends and your mom isn't there and you're saying, oh yeah, I saw, mommy was doing this or whatever. You know how little kids just run their mouths. It just felt very much like that. And then then somebody says, oh, did you know, little Susie told us that you're doing X, Y, and Z, and your mom's looking at you like, you told them that? Like what? And your mom, even if she doesn't spank you, she's pissed at you. You get that talking to in the car. Like, I thought I told you, when we're out, you don't tell our business. It was very much like that. That was the vibe. I don't think it's a lie. Mary clocked her on Watch What Happens Live. Yes, she did. She said that Bronwyn lies. She sure did. She said Bronwyn lied. Whack her, Heather, because I'm done with Bronwyn and her father, Todd. Bronwyn is two-faced. Well, that's why what many married people do. They cloak and die for one another in front of people. I'm behind, but the body language was because of Bronwyn's huge ruffles. That's what I believe, that he's pissed. She put the affair out there. Now she's trying to do damage control, but it's too late for all that. I could definitely see her adding extra sauce to the story, though. Oh, wow. It's called DV and emotional. I can listen, child. There's something going on in that marriage because she looks terrified of him. And she looked terrified on that couch. He looked lost, dazed, confused, and pissed at the same time. I can definitely see emotional and like verbal, like he just does not speak kindly to her at all. Yeah, he looked confused at the part where Andy mentioned Gwen seeing the messages. Yes. Lying about the jewelry. Why did she even show it? She showed it because she wanted cool points with the viewers. She wanted everybody to say, oh my gosh, she's so wealthy. How cool is that? And it backfired. Just so dumb. If she looks afraid of him, why isn't there more sympathy toward her? Just weird that you have all this energy for a seeming victim. I just feel like I want her to stop lying. I don't need somebody to come on here and lie to us and act like you have it all together when you don't. I don't think that that's me having energy for a victim. I think that Bronwyn can't keep her story straight in the same way that I would whack anybody. I would whack her too. I think that Bronwyn also has said it herself that she knows what kind of marriage that she's in. And we can't really feel sorry for somebody who is enjoying being in this kind of mess in the first place. But this is my opinion. And I said what I said, and I feel how I feel. How would Todd even know where to download the Peacock app? Either he didn't see it or child. I feel like he loves Gwen more than Bronwyn because he's more protective of Gwen than her mother. Yes, he definitely does have a soft spot for Gwen. Absolutely. She even told them her daughter caught him cheating. Yikes. It's disappointing me. I was rooting for her. We were all rooting for her. She looked terrified, and so did John. Mormon gaslighting is a real thing, baby. I just feel like I think my issue with Bronwyn is she spins so many stories that we don't know what the real truth is. The truth is like buried in between her stories. And then on top of that, you're lying about some silly stuff. There's no reason to lie about the jewelry. We're not judging you either way if you buy the jewelry or you don't buy the jewelry. But to lie about it, like, can we be real for a minute? Like, it's just so dumb to lie about. There was no reason for that. And Bronwyn wants to play victim, but at the same time, you're kind of giving villain behavior with all the lying. And I always say you can't be the villain and the victim at the same time. Bronwyn doesn't know if she wants to be the cool girl or if she wants to be pitied. You just can't play both. On one hand, she loves her marriage and her and Todd, they understand each other. And then at the other end, we see that that's not really the case. But Bronwyn needs to help herself out and, go see somebody and talk about her issues. Because for her to acknowledge that she has all these insecurities, that's great. Awareness is the first step, but you got to do something about it. It's time to go get some help. And Bronwyn has the resources to go and talk to somebody and unpack what happened to her when she was a child and a teenager and all that stuff. Just my 2 cents. She's not even owning being a victim. That part. I don't know. I just was irritated because the question was, did he cheat or not? You had all of us going to bat for you. All the ladies were upset to hear that story about how he cheated on you. And now we get to the reunion and you're sitting up there talking about, oh, well, it wasn't that deep. He was talking to a woman that I thought that it went too far. What? You were crying about somebody cheating on you and now you're backtracking and saying that he didn't do it? When the episode aired, her and Todd were both on Watch What Happens Live. Andy asked about the affair and she lied then. She said, oh, it was fine. It wasn't really an affair. It was fine. And we're all like, wait, what? Come again? I'm sorry, but I just don't really have too much patience for people who lie. I really don't. It's just so dumb. Bronwyn does say that when Todd and her talked about this, Todd gave her a 5th anniversary gift with 5 new promises. So Andy's like, well, what were the 5 promises? Todd says support, love, fidelity, care, and to take care of Gwen. So Bronwyn says, oh yeah, and by the way, transparency. The fact that Todd said fidelity. Then I guess that was a way of him admitting that he did cheat. Is that what you guys thought? Let me know. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know anymore. I honestly just don't know anymore. Bronwyn spins so many stories that who knows what the truth is. So Meredith jumps in and says, it was always my intention to be very supportive of you, not even questionable. Then the next thing I know, you're having a powwow with Heather, Angie, and Whitney accusing me of cheating along with Lisa. So she says, and now you're saying it's not that big of a deal or it wasn't this big affair? Well, don't hold me accountable for trying to show you both sides of the story when it wasn't that big of a deal to begin with. Again, while Meredith worked my nerves in the first half of this reunion, I said, when you're right, you're right. Because again, you have us feeling sorry for you, and now you turn around and say that it wasn't that big of a deal. There was no affair. All right, let me see what y'all are saying. He never denied it. Beyonce stayed with her cheating husband so they can grant Bronwyn some grace. That's exactly what I got, that he had cheated. Meredith had to make it about her. He did cheat, and she used the story to gain sympathy. He definitely cheated. Transparency, so she doesn't have to see inappropriate emails, and fidelity, that she did not worry about another incident. He was inappropriate. I screamed when she said powwow. Todd didn't answer the question. He didn't answer the question. He did not. Todd never said I did not cheat. Yeah, because he was silent when Heather said, well, did he cheat or not? And he just sat there. Oh my gosh. May I be so honest? Todd was really aggravating me. He looked like such a clown sitting up there, not saying a word. I said, you and your wife, but you especially, sir, you should really be embarrassed. We do see that there was some unseen footage in the finale episode when they went horseback riding. Bronwyn and Meredith do talk. And so, Bronwyn says, look, I was in my feelings. But I understand that you were looking out for me. I get it. Heather jumps back in and says, but that's not what happened. And now Bronwyn's like, well, that's what happened to me. Bronwyn, you can't be mad at Heather questioning you because we're not getting a clear answer about was there an affair or not. You brought this up to them first. So you can't be mad if they question you about, how true is this story? So now Andy goes on to say that it was revealed that Gwen was the one who caught Todd messaging another woman. That had to be very difficult. Todd looked like somebody went upside his head and he was just now waking up, because he must have sat there for what felt like 5 minutes in silence. He could not believe it. Did you guys know, his facial expression? He looked so lost. He says, any of this is difficult. But I said, what kind of answer is that? Bronwyn's in the background talking about, And I said, y'all both look like fools. I said, y'all both are wearing me thin. Y'all, I was too done. I was done with the both of them. I said, you said Todd looked pissed. Bronwyn is a gold digger. I think he was shook to see the recap. I don't think he knew Bronwyn said that, but it's true. She's the one who brought it to camera and made it a moment, then tried to back down. Exactly. Heather needs to mind her business, considering she was one who said to Bronwyn that Lisa and Meredith were on Todd's side because they're cheaters. Oh, very good point. Very good point on that. But I guess the only reason why I'm overlooking that is because at the end of the day, Bronwyn brought this story up to them in the first place. She brought this up. And now when we were asking for answers, now she's sitting up there backpedaling. So the only reason why I'm going to give Heather a pass on that is because Bronwyn is not being honest about what is the truth. But yes, you are correct 100% that Heather needs to just, sit there and eat her food, because she was egging it on about Meredith and Lisa cheating and why they relate to Todd. I absolutely get it. Oh, you said I don't care what Heather's talking about because she sat up there with the black eye. Clock it. I didn't like when Bronwyn turned around and said to Todd, like, you're okay. And I said, why are you talking to him like he's 5 years old? He's older than you. He's almost 70 years old. And you sit up there talking about, you're okay, like he's a baby. Baby girl, if he cheated on you, he needs to be talking about or asking you if you're okay, not the other way around. It was just really weird. We do talk about Andy. Andy says to Angie how Angie said that Bronwyn has divulged more about her marriage than Lisa has about her entire life. Do you think that Lisa only sticks to safe topics? So Angie's like, well, watching it back, I just meant that Bronwyn had just met us and she shared a lot. So we have Mary talking about under her breath, that's why everybody loves Bronwyn. That's why she's the fan favorite. Now, it definitely seemed like Mary was trying to shade Lisa about the whole fan favorite thing. But Miss Mary, let me just say that Bronwyn has fallen out of favor with a lot of the viewers. So Bronwyn was the fan favorite for a while, but she's no longer the fan favorite now. And especially after these first two parts of this reunion, she's not the fan favorite. So I understand that, you might have felt like that, but she's not. And you low-key even confirmed it. You said that Bronwyn lies on Watch What Happens Live after the episode went off. So yeah, Bronwyn's no longer the fan favorite. Is she the fan favorite for y'all? Let me know. Do y'all think that was a jab at Lisa? That was definitely shade. I think Bronwyn was saying, are you okay? Because I think she felt Todd was going to lose it. Just a hot ass mess. A hot ass mess. Bronwyn played her hand way too early in her first season. I agree. Oh, y'all said hell no. You said she's cooked. She's the fan fraud. Angie's my fave. Why is Lisa the fan favorite? What is the appeal? Someone tell me. Y'all don't listen to me. Y'all don't listen to me. I keep trying to tell y'all. The majority of the Bravo fan base, especially the SLC viewers, 90% of those of the fans love Lisa down. I think people love how Lisa is very confident, borderlines arrogance. She's aloof. She has that whole aura of it's all about me. That's appealing to people. Again, I'm just telling you, the majority of the Bravo verse loves Lisa. Like at BravoCon, for when it's time to meet Lisa, her line is like one of the longest lines, but the girls love Lisa down. Lisa, whether you like her or hate her, there is an it factor there. Again, I'm not, in terms of marketing, people love her vibe. Think about it. She gets endorsements easily. And y'all remember, I'm not saying this as a fan. I'm just saying this with somebody objective. Like, okay, like I'm not talking about, this is not any fan behavior. I'm just saying from a marketing standpoint, people love her vibe. She has the Kerastase endorsement now. You saw how they played it after the reunion. She has the Diet Coke. She has the Diet Coke endorsement. Wendy's, like the girls love Lisa. The brands love Lisa. And the girls on the cast see that people love Lisa and they want to be around Lisa. Remember, on top of that, Lisa is everything that Heather and Whitney have always wanted to be, even Bronwyn, because Lisa has the best of both worlds. She's in the Mormon church, but she also does her own thing and nobody questions her about that. And that's like a rarity, it seems, in the Mormon culture. So they look at her like, oh my gosh, like she's really like that cool girl. She's able to do her own thing and they want that. They envy that. They wish they could be like that because they try to step out and they got kicked out of the church. She's able to have a tequila brand. She wears what she wants to wear. She does what she wants to do and she's still in the church and they love that. So it's a lot of things going on, but like to a lot of people, Lisa exudes a coolness. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yes, it's child, listen. y'all are y'all are preaching in the comments. Like, just get out of your own head for a minute. Marketing, she's like a marketer's dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a lot of these girls' dreams. That's all I'm saying. That's why and the girls love her, and she represents like the Mormon girl, what a lot of these Mormon girls would love to be. Like, she's still able to do her thing and still be in the church. So now, yeah, but that whole thing with Bronwyn and Todd and the affair, I guess it's safe to say that an affair did happen, and she's now trying to backpedal and cover it up because she's embarrassed and scared of Todd's reaction, or Bronwyn made this whole entire thing up. Because that's where I'm at with it. It's either one of two things. I'm just saying. I don't really know what to say anymore about Bronwyn. I'm just disappointed because I like Bronwyn a lot. And the fact that she's really been a disappointment. Yup, y'all are saying it. Y'all are saying it in the comments. Y'all are hitting it in the comments. Yes, yes. Lisa stands on her own thing. She doesn't care if you like it or not. She is who she is, and that exudes confidence. Thank you. I couldn't sum it up any better. People love people who just don't care. They just don't give an F. And that's Lisa. She does not care. She's gonna always do her. And you can love her or hate her, but she don't care, you know? Do you think Bronwyn can redeem herself next season? She needs to get into somebody's therapist's office immediately, some soul searching, build that confidence up. She needs to get on like Elisa Barlow. She needs to really just work on herself. There's a part of me. So I said on Twitter that I won't be surprised if Bronwyn ends up leaving the show and does not come back, because Todd probably is going to threaten maybe a divorce if she joins the show again, because I think that Todd, not only does he hate the show, but finding out at this reunion that she put all their business on Front Street about his affair, I think he's livid about that. So I could see Bronwyn not coming back due to pressure from Todd, or her not coming back because the fans have turned on her. Her castmates feel like she's kind of weird and sketchy and a liar. So, and Bronwyn's very sensitive to folks not liking her. She's a people pleaser. She's got a lot of insecurities. So I don't know. I would not be surprised if she does not come back on her own accord, because of she's going to be on an island all by herself if she does come back season 6. So I don't know. Bronwyn needs to pick one identity persona and stick to it. It's hard to play a victim and a villain at the same time, as we see with Brandon. Yeah, I agree. You could see how embarrassed and angry Todd was when the affair was being discussed. Oh, he was livid. Since when has being a liar stopped someone from being on reality TV? That's true. But you know what though? She's not a good liar. Like, the liars from, like you think of a Phaedra Parks or somebody else, like the iconic liars, they stand 10 toes down in the lies. They believe their own delusions, and eventually we forget about them. She's very like, she's going to be dishonest, but then she's upset about folks calling her out for the dishonesty, versus like a real villain will lie and they just lean into the lie. Karen Huger is another one. Mia is another one where they lie, but they stand 10 toes down in the lie. But Bronwyn can't do that. She's too worried about us calling her out for being a liar. Whereas Mia's like, hey, she lies and it is what it is. We all have to deal with it. Karen tells her lies and she expects us to deal with it, and it is what it is. But Bronwyn does not have the same, the same mental toughness that they do. Yes, if you're going to be the villain, lean into it. Be the villain. Exactly. She lied like an elementary school kid. Oh gosh. I mean, maybe Bronwyn might come back. I'm not saying that she's not going to come back. I think that Bravo does want her back, but I would not be surprised if maybe she left, because think about it. Whitney said on Watch What Happens Live a few weeks ago that after the reunion was filmed, they all went to dinner except for Bronwyn. Mary didn't go either, but Mary probably, you know how Mary is. Mary does not like being around them for all that time. She probably went back to the hotel, ordered some room service, and just did her thing in the room. Bronwyn, they probably invited her. Bronwyn probably did not even get an invite to dinner. That's the difference, in my opinion. So I just think that Bronwyn is going to be on an island all by herself, season 6. So I guess we're off of Bronwyn and this whole story about the affair, and now we start talking about. Andy starts reading the tweets asking the status of Seth and Meredith's marriage. He's like, "You're in Ohio a lot. Are you guys living separate lives?" So Meredith says, "Well, contrary to what Whitney, Angie, and Heather said, we do not cheat on each other. Yes, we have bumps in the road sometimes, but anybody who's been married for a long time who says that their marriage has been a walk in the park is a liar." I hate when people act like because you've been married for a long time that you have to expect hardships and a whole bunch of mess in a marriage. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of the downs in the marriages are cheating. I don't like that I don't like that mindset that people have that, like, if you actually do have a happy marriage, then you're a liar. Like that's really backwards to me. It's very aggravating. I'm just like, Meredith girl, stop. Like, speak for yourself. I'm sure that there are a lot of happy marriages out there. People have been together. I mean, my parents had a very happy marriage, until my dad died. So, like, I'm sorry. Like, everybody's not, in strife and just miserable for 20, 30 years. I don't like when folks say that. It's just like annoying. And Meredith and Seth, they seem like they have some issues, in my opinion. So Seth says that he sees Meredith every weekend, sometimes more than that. And you have Todd jumping in, and he's like, "Yeah, people online accuse me and Bronwyn of the same thing. Some idiot in a gossip rag wrote that I live in different states, and we have multiple homes, because yes, I do work in New York sometimes, but I totally understand where Seth and Meredith are coming from." I said, "Todd, now you want to call folks on the internet idiots? You and your wife are on a reality TV show. It's clear that there's a disconnect in your marriage. Bronwyn said that you work in New York, what, 4 or 5 days out the week? So for you to act like, people just lying on you and Bronwyn, stop." Oh my gosh. So now Andy's asking Seth if there is a side chick in Ohio, and Seth says, "Oh, a side chick?" And he's like, "His hands." So they laugh about that. And now Andy's like, "Oh, well, she sure is pretty." I just said, okay, Seth. I mean, do you honestly think that Seth is going to admit to having a side piece in Ohio? No. But it's time for the husbands to leave. Everybody's getting up. And did anybody notice how Bronwyn told Todd, "Let John walk off first because there's some spiciness between you guys"? I said, child, I highly doubt that Todd is going to do anything to John. And on top of that, it was not that deep for you to feel like they might fight each other. Stop. Like, I said, Bronwyn wants to have a moment because it was not that deep for you to feel like they're going to fight. Like, stop. I mean, John and Justin almost came to blows, but I highly doubt, I think that your husband will be just fine. Yeah, like Todd is not going to jump John. Exactly. Oh, I'm screaming. You say yes, get the Apollo broom and get them off the stage. Yes, it was nowhere near that deep. Exactly. So now So everybody's back on stage, and now it is time for Mary's segment. Now, y'all, I'm gonna try to get through Mary's segment because the way I was crying when I had to recap that episode with Robert Jr. and her having that conversation, I do not want to cry again. I cried a little bit during when Mary was talking about it again. So we're gonna do our best. I do not feel like crying. So, but they play Mary's montage. Mary's already choked up. She's crying. So Andy says that the tweets that we got after that episode aired were immeasurable. And he goes on to ask her, does she feel the outpouring of love? So Mary says, I do. And it means that my mission was accomplished. She said that when I sat Robert Jr. down, I said, just tell me, be real. And she says, if we can just help one person, we'll tell our truth. So she says the cameras went up and he told me what he did. Again, the mission was to help somebody. The love that I've been receiving shows me that it resonated with people. So Andy goes on to ask her what part of the conversation surprised her the most. So Mary says, I didn't expect him to tell me any of that, honestly. So she said that the fact that I was so unaware scared me because we're so close. He still lives at home. So I was shocked. So now Andy's asking about rehab. And she says, the last time we saw you talking to him, he was going to rehab. How long was he in there? And did he want to go to rehab? So we do find out that Robert Jr. was in rehab for 30 days. And he actually did want to go to rehab. She says that he knew that he wanted to change. And it was a cry for help. So, Mary says that life has been good. She still has her worries sometimes because when you go to rehab, once you come out, they tell you that you have to change your friends. And she said he's done that for the most part, but now he's like a homebody. He's always around her. So we find out that he does go to AA classes and he has some friends from there. So that's good to hear. So now Andy says, me hearing him say that he felt like a stain, and then Andy gets choked up, like Andy starts crying. And in all of our years, I've never seen Andy cry. So that, how big that is for Andy to start crying. I was shocked, but yeah, Andy started crying. So now, Mary starts crying and she says, you don't ever want to hear your child say that. He's everything. Now we flash to Lisa crying. Heather's in tears. So Mary says, I want to tell him and convince him and tell him that you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're worthy. I want him to believe that. So now we have Whitney crying, and I'm not going to hold you. Whitney gets on my last good nerve, but Miss Mama, the way Whitney was sobbing at the end of that couch, I felt my heart broke. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, Whitney is really she is truly, you knew that it had to do with her dad. You knew that off rip, but Whitney was breaking my heart the way she started crying. So now Mary goes on to say that we're our own worst critic and his is really hard and she wishes that she could change it. So now Andy brings up how Mary was beating herself up and how she felt like she failed. So Mary says, of course, as a mom, I want to give him the world, give him a better life. So, she reveals that she actually picked up and moved to New York for 8 years so that way he could have the best education. She goes on to say that she did not want him raised the way she was, where she was the only Black person in class. She said they would play slave movies and the whole class would look at her. Now, I had no idea that he went to school in New York. They lived in New York for 8 years. She's never mentioned that. The whole time I thought that Rob Jr. went to school in Utah. But I will say, if you grow up in a very wealthy area, a lot of times that's a lot of our experiences, especially private school, in New York too. In New York, if you grow up in a very wealthy area in New York, whether suburbs or in the city, a lot of the schools are very white. You're the only chocolate chip in the cookie, and that takes a toll on you. I went to school, it was very diverse. Thank God. I'm from New York, but still, I opted not to go to private school. I wanted to go to public school because the public schools where I lived were excellent, right? But the point is that I saw friends who went to private school the schools in the city, and they have some issues because they were the only, like I said, the only chocolate chip in the cookie. That takes a toll on you. It's terrible. But I felt really bad to hear that was Mary's experience. But I'm just kind of like, it's one thing to be the only one, but you live in a state, a city where it's very diverse, like New York or LA. Okay, you go to a white school, but you know that New York and LA, it's a lot of us, a lot of diversity, right? Utah is like, what? It's like 6 Black people who live there. So it's like, that's a lot to deal with. But I feel very sad that that was her experience. But we find that out that they did live in New York for his education. So she says, I do blame myself, but I do feel like everybody has their own path, their own testimony, their own journey, and that's his. So now Angie says, Mary did a great job because those words could have saved his life. And now we have Andy asking Mary, what were Robert Sr.'s feelings when he saw that? So Mary says that Robert Sr. was broken and strong, but he commended me and told me that he loved me and that I was a beautiful mom. Then she says he told me that he was proud of me. I was happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that Robert Sr. is in the picture. Although we don't see him on camera, I'm happy to know that he is in his son's life. I'm happy to hear that he did, praise Mary, because she even said that I don't hear that a lot from him. That's really sad. And I always wonder about their marriage, but I'm happy to hear that he did let her know that she's doing a great job and all that. So that was good. So now we have Andy saying that it's an incredible testament to Mary that Rob Jr. is very open with her. And even in the state that he was in, he was very eloquent in describing how he felt like life is unseasoned chicken. So now we have Lisa jump in and she's like, that was a great analogy. And then she says, he's a great boy. You're a great mom. And Mary says, thank you. Now, wait, there was a point where I thought that Andy was going to bring up that alleged argument that took place that they cut out this season regarding Mary and Lisa going at it about each other's kids. You could tell that Mary was happy to hear Lisa say that because of what Lisa allegedly called Robert Jr. So I was happy to see that Mary and Lisa, had a moment. Lisa, showed some empathy and sympathy, complimented Mary on how she's a great mom. I said, okay, that's good to know, because if you guys know the tea, during that campfire episode, it was alleged that production cut out the real argument that happened between Lisa and Mary, and that was that Mary called Lisa's son a slur, and Lisa called Mary's son a name that rhymes with funky. Okay, it's regarding like if you do drugs, you know the word I'm talking about. But yeah, so I was happy that Lisa said that to Mary and that Mary received it. So now Heather's crying and she says that she watched with her daughters and it opened up a conversation with them. So she says, I give total props to Robert Jr. Now, while this is going on, everybody has tissue in their hand. Everybody's crying. And all throughout this segment, it was not lost on me that production kept panning to Meredith and how Meredith was like emotionless. Now, I understand that not everybody's emotional or affectionate or a crier, but I was just like, damn, Meredith, this woman's talking about how her son wanted to unalive himself and he was on drugs. Everybody's sobbing, even Andy sobbing, and you're telling me that you can't squeeze out a tear? Even Lisa with her fake tears, she was able to squeeze out some real tears this time. You couldn't even do that? I'm like, damn, girl, like, you give us a show any other time. Put those soap opera theatrics to work, girl. Let a tear come down. I'm like, my God. I was just like, girl, like, are you okay? Are you not in touch with your emotions? Because I'm sorry. I mean, listen, it's easy for me to say I cry very easily. I cry a lot, okay? If I see you crying, I'm going to cry for you. We're going to both be crying. All right, I sob down. Like the way Whitney was sobbing, that's how I sob. The way Candace from Potomac sobs, that's how I cry. So I could not imagine somebody sitting there telling me about their kid wanting to off themselves and they're on drugs, and I'm sitting there stone faced like this. I said, Meredith. And at no point did Meredith shed a tear, nothing. I said, okay, girl. It was the Botox preventing her from crying. I also cried during this segment. Yeah, I did too. Now listen, Botox, please, even with Botox, you can still cry. You can still squeeze out something now. Again, listen, I'm not trying to say that you have to cry. You said Bronwyn didn't cry either. Well, Bronwyn didn't cry either, but you could see the tears welling up. There were no tears welling up behind Meredith's eyes. I just said, damn. You know that commercial, that the Dawn dish liquid commercial, and they have the penguins who are in the oil spill and they're cleaning them up. I cry every time that commercial comes on. Like, let me not even bring that up because I literally start weeping all the time. Like, I will cry if I see like, cute little animals, like just anything like cute or fun, I'll cry at. Like if like I just cry like all the time. So like I just could not imagine somebody telling me that kind of story and I'm sitting there like like that commercial takes me out every single time. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, let me not go off on a tangent about that. So oh my gosh, I didn't want to talk about this part because it's gonna make me cry. So I really broke down when Andy went on to ask Angie about her mom's addiction. We know that Angie's mom died when she was 7, and her mom struggled with alcoholism. So she says, were you able to connect with Mary in a different way because you dealt with that, something similar? So Angie says, it's different because I was little, but I used to think that if I were old enough, I could have helped my mom. And that was sad. Oh, see, I shouldn't even have talked about that part. I should have skipped that. Oh my God. See, listen, I'm happy that we talked about Mary for a long time, but this segment was long and it was very sad. I said, oh my gosh. I said, we gotta move on to something lighter now because this is too much. But I loved it. It was cute because you have Angie and Mary holding hands. We have Angie saying that Mary told her that, if your mom could do it all over again, she would. I lost it at that, y'all. I mean, baby, I was crying like a baby when she said that. So now we have Whitney. Whitney is sobbing. And so Andy points it out. He's like, I want to point out how emotional Whitney's getting. Whitney was sobbing so hard she couldn't even talk. So Mary's like, girl, you still look pretty though. So Whitney says, I watched that with my kids. Since I haven't talked to my dad since season 1, it's hard to explain to them. But for them to listen to Robert Jr., they now understand. So she says, I'm truly grateful that Robert Jr. was brave enough to share that because it helped my family. So now Andy asked Whitney about her dad, and I was in tears because I remember season 1 when we met Whitney's dad. He has he has addiction issues. She hasn't spoken to him since she was trying to get him help, trying to get him in rehab. And then when she said that she has not talked to him, her kids don't have a grandfather. He's nowhere to be found now. That just took me out. I felt so bad. But we do move off of that. And now Andy says, I want to lighten the mood a little bit. So he says, Mary, it seems like in the 5 seasons of knowing you, you are much lighter this season, more engaged. And Mary says, I feel like this time around, I found a friend that actually wanted to be my friend, which is Angie. So she says, having that support made me clock in. So Andy says, I don't want to start anything, but you and Meredith had a nice friendship. Did you not feel that from her? So Mary says, well, our friendship is very different. Meredith is a beautiful person and a beautiful friend. I love Meredith, but she's a very busy woman. She's always traveling, and that's not me. But she does acknowledge that Meredith did call and check in on her and was a good friend to her. And then Meredith says that, Mary, I wish I was able to be there for you. And Mary says, it's okay. But I'm the type to carry my own cross and my own burdens. I don't like to put myself on other people. Now, Mary, I'm similar in those regards, because if I have issues, I don't tell anybody. Like, you'll find out about it after I've already, gotten over the hump. So she says, I did feel you when you reached out to me. I cried. We do see the text message that Meredith sent, and I'm not going to hold you. We do. The screenshot is like, hey, Mary, my nephew went through the same thing, and he would love to reach out to you and talk to you if you need it. That's sweet. Like that's really sweet. But I do feel like sometimes, you know what? Let me not say it. I'm not going to say it. Let me be honest. Okay, wait. So you thought the same thing? We thought the same thing. Then I felt like the text message did center herself. Thank you, because I just felt like, just say, I'm so sorry to hear about your son. Anything that you need, I'm here. She spent a long time talking about her nephew, how he went through the same thing, and it was hard for her and their family. And I'm thinking, Meredith, I'm sorry for your nephew. You did share that with us in season 2 and season 3, but it's about Robert Jr. right now and Mary, like, in my opinion, right? Okay, so we're on the same page about that. It did feel like that text centered Meredith and not Mary and Rob Jr. Okay. And I'm not saying that she did it on purpose. I'm not saying that she did it on purpose. I just kind of feel like, sometimes when people are going through stuff, you try not to bring up how you've gone through it too. You know what I'm saying? You get what I mean? Like, for example, right? I'll put myself in it, right? If a friend's parent dies, or like an acquaintance is going through like a loss of a parent, I have to make sure that I don't say, oh my gosh, I know how you feel because my dad died, and I had to stop myself and say, like, let me just focus on them. Don't, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to bash Meredith. I'm not saying that her heart was not in the right place, but sometimes you just can't bring up how it's happened to you too. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Am I clicking? Yes. Sometimes being relatable is not helpful. Yes, that is so true. It's true. It goes for everybody. I'm not just getting on Meredith, but it's so true. Sometimes you just have to just say, zip your mouth, listen, acknowledge how your friend or whoever they are, acknowledge how they're feeling. Don't bring up how it's happened to you. Don't, like, and I tell myself that too, like, don't fight the urge to say, fight the urge to make it about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Say somebody lost a parent, say, oh my gosh, I know, like, we're so young, I lost my dad, da, 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 da. Like, don't do that. Like, just shut up, Former drug counselor here, we were taught, you don't make it about yourself. Yes. I get you want to sympathize, but there's a time and a place. Exactly. Empathy, exactly. Empathy is not the same as compassion. Very true. Yes, it's called being present. Exactly. You can say you relate. No, but okay, so I don't like to say that either, because I don't want to feel like I don't like, you know what I can't stand? I can't stand people who are like, yeah, me too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Remember that song that Pharrell had, like Mr. Me Too? Like, I don't want to be like that. Like, I just don't say anything. Like, just shh, quiet. In a conversation, like in real life, unless like maybe, just no. Like, I try not to do it. Listen, I fall short. I am not perfect, but I try really hard to not, because it's very easy to be like, you're like, you just want to say it so bad, but it's like, you can't be present. It's about them. So, okay. All right. We all get each other. um yes, just receive it. Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes just listening and being there is enough. What did Red Oyster say? B, it's not about you. Yes, we see each other, Brooke. Exactly, exactly. Like I always say, unless they ask me for advice, like, okay, like, but just listen. You know, don't be like, oh yeah, I get it. And here we are, don't fight the urge, fight the urge. We all have to fight the urge. And then it's like, in today's time, it's very easy to be self-centered and make it about yourself. Like, let's be real, for anybody. And then add fame or notoriety to that. It's very easy to be self-centered. That goes for anybody, but especially for somebody with fame and notoriety, it gets even easier to be just very self-absorbed and it's all about you. And you have to fight that urge. You cannot make it about yourself. You can't. But yes, we see each other about Meredith's text to Mary when Robert Jr. was going through it. So Andy reads a viewer question on Twitter about is Meredith jealous of Mary and Angie's friendship? And Meredith laughs it off. She says it's not true. So now Andy brings up the fight at Mary's brunch, and he's like, well, when did you realize the breakdown of your friendship? So Meredith says, well, I wouldn't say it's a breakdown, but we had a clashing moment. So now a viewer points out that Mary probably wanted Meredith to leave when she walked in with those bangs. So Mary says, no, but those bangs were a bit of suffering. So Meredith says, it's fine to make fun of that, but there's other stuff about me that's been said. And now Whitney says, oh, after each episode, do you take notes of what's being said about you? So Meredith brings out her phone and she has in her notes app all the things that they've said about her. And she says, I've been called bulimic, a drug addict, homeless, unstable, psychotic, a liar. My hearing aids have been made fun of. I'm a grudge holder, a whore. And those are the only things that I can remember. I said, Meredith, baby, if Meredith does not get the award for constantly making herself out to be the victim, then I don't know who gets it, because Miss Meredith is going to always find a way to let you know that she's been wronged. So Angie clocks her and she says, well, Meredith, what have you said about other people? So we played the flashbacks. We had Meredith saying that, somebody was ugly. I said, damn, girl. I said, you can't be talking about other people. You call somebody ugly. She said that, she said a whole bunch of stuff about people, but they played the flashback. And I said, yeah, Meredith, that's not a good look, honey. So Andy now reads another viewer question asking, how did Mary use you for 3 years when she was the one who did not talk about your son or your marriage? So Meredith says, well, it was a heated moment, but that's how I felt. I felt like I had been there for you for years, and then all of a sudden I felt disposable. Mary was not here for it. She said, excuse me, how did I use you? Because I've never used anybody in my life. And for you to say that, that's coming from my character. So then she says, I'd appreciate it if you said that it wasn't true. So now Meredith says, I know that. I just said that in the heat of the moment, but I know that. So now Andy goes on to ask, where do they stand now? And Meredith says, well, I think that we're on a positive path forward, I hope. And now Mary says, give me a hug, Meredith. And they hug it out. They share a little tender moment. And now Mary says, Angie, you got to get it right with her because I love her. So we end part 2 there. Now, I do want to point out that Mary, you got angry at Angie for befriending your op, which is Brittany, right? I just feel like I just kind of feel like it's a bit hypocritical for you to be like, oh, well, you have to be friends with Meredith now because I'm friends with her and, and I love her. I don't know. I kind of feel like if you want somebody to have your back, right, and be your ride or die for people that you don't like, you need to also maybe give that same energy to Meredith, because her and Angie don't see it for each other. I don't know. I just kind of felt like, and also it kind of felt dismissive, because Angie and Meredith have been going at it now for like 2 or 3 seasons. And that's not really cool. That's not really fair for you to say, well, just get over it because I like Meredith and that's my friend. So get over it. Because if the shoe were on the other foot, you'd be mad if Angie said that to you. Like, what if she said, well, I like Brittany, so just get over it so we can all be friends? Like, I don't know. I just kind of felt like, okay. But yeah, we do end it with Mary and Meredith hugging. So that was cute. But I mean, oh, let me read this comment. On Watch What Happens Live, from what Mary said, it doesn't seem like her and Meredith are in a good place. Oh, okay, so they're back at odds again. I mean, Angie said she's willing to work it out with Meredith. That's true. She is. She is. And shout out to one of y'all, because one of y'all made a comment in my last recap where you said that Meredith alluded to Angie being resentful of her. Because when the casting directors first came to Salt Lake City, Meredith said that she made it clear that she does not live in Salt Lake City. She lives in Park City for only half the year. And Angie tried out, because remember, Meredith outed her about how she auditioned for the show 3 times and got denied, right? But one of y'all said that in this recent interview that Meredith did, Meredith said that she thinks that it's a bit of like resentment and jealousy, because Angie was really trying to sell herself to production. And she was like, oh yeah, I live in Salt Lake City and I have a business and all this stuff. Like, I'm here. And they went with Meredith over Angie. And she said that she thinks that Angie is a bit like jealous about that, because they chose her when she doesn't even live in Utah full time. She's only there like 4 or 5 months out the year. And then on top of that, she's not even in SLC. She's in Park City, which is an hour away. And Angie's in SLC, lives there full time. So she thinks that there's something there. And I said, oh, I could see that. But either way, I am getting tired of this whole Meredith and Angie beef. Either be cordial or just leave each other alone. But I can't take another year of us talking about gay rumors about Angie's husband and, Meredith going at it with them. Like, I'm tired of it all. Well, that could be the case because their beef is so unnecessarily petty. Yeah, it makes sense. Lisa and Heather referred Angie. Yep, she thinks that she stole her snowflake. They need to let it go and get along now. Meredith is a whole headache, sick of her, the way she was so emotionless. Meredith started their beef, though. Yes, she did, right? Season 3, when Angie was a friend of. Because Meredith ripped her a new one at that reunion. Because you know what it was? Angie never got over when Meredith said, baby, you're the thirsty one because you auditioned for this show 3 times and you got rejected each time. So I don't think that Angie ever got over that read. I feel like they could be great friends. Yeah, I think so too. If they would just let the past go and start fresh, we could actually see a friendship. I like this cast. It's an ensemble cast. All right, I want to read the super chats that I missed. Hey, Liberia Rose, thank you for the super chat. Like I said last week, I don't believe a thing Bronwyn says about anything, including the grandparent stuff. Her pants are on fire. Child, all I'm going to say is this. I don't want to say that I'm second guessing every single thing, but I'm questioning a lot. I have some questions. I think that Bronwyn has dug herself into, a hole with all these stories. And I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's false. I don't know what's an exaggeration. But I saw a few people saying that on Twitter as well, that they don't believe anything now. And that's really sad. But you see what happens when you lie about stupid stuff like getting jewelry and an affair. That's actually pretty major. Now people are going to question everything that you say. I'm just saying. Hey, Rahina, Nina, thank you for the super chat. Brooke, your necklace. Also, see you at Kempires. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yes, well, first off, I'm wearing the $4 million necklace that Bronwyn did not buy. I'm joking, but I can't wait to see you at Kempires. Again, y'all, I'm hosting Kempires live show next month, February 21st. If you are in New York, please come get yourself a ticket. It's going to be lit. It's going to be a good time. We're going to be taking pictures, talking, joking, laughing, gossiping, spilling the tea. So make sure to get your ticket. We're going to have a good old time, okay? I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to meet all of y'all. And thank you again, Rahina. Hey, Rahina, thank you for the super chat. Is this Bronwyn's necklace? I'm speaking it into existence for you. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. I'm going to have her necklace soon. Hey, Liberia Rose, thank you for the super chat. My opinion, Todd is the Gordon of SLC. Well, no, because Gordon is actually friendly and personable, and he's actually nice. Todd just seems so sour and rude, no personality, dry. Hey, 90 TSR, thank you for the super chat. Bronwyn needs a redemption season. Well, if she comes back next season, she needs to come on and redeem herself. Stop all this lying. Hey, Monique Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Baby, they should have included a trigger warning. I bought like a damn baby. My dad, RIP, struggled with drugs at one point. I felt everybody's pain. Monique, you're about to have me crying again now. You're about to have me crying and bawling now. I'm sorry to hear that about your dad. But no, they should have had a trigger warning for that second half because Mary's entire segment had me in tears. I was torn up. I said, all right, like, y'all, I don't want to cry like this. Like, can we please move on? Because it's enough. I don't know how Meredith sat there stone-faced like that because, I mean, I was done. But again, I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences. And on top of that, you about to have me crying again. Hey, Veronica, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Brooke, do you have any predictions on next season? Cast changes or friendships shifts? I mean, I said that I could see Bronwyn not coming back. If she does come back, I think that she'll be on an island all by herself. I've heard that everybody's coming back. They all got their contracts for season 6. So if anything, we'll see some new alliances. We'll see, I could see maybe Whitney and Lisa actually making up and being friends again. Yeah, I can see. I think Brittany's coming back as a friend of again too. So yeah, it's gonna be everybody that I'm hearing. Everybody's coming back. But my money is now on: is Bronwyn coming back or not? Child, you about to have me crying in here. I still don't get why Lisa is insistent on Bronwyn's baby daddy's family being good people or they have their side. What are we missing? Well, it's clear that Bronwyn's baby's daddy's family is very powerful, and there's some benefit that Lisa is getting being friends with them, and that's why she's on their side. What about Maylee? Oh, Maylee's not coming back. We forgot all about her. She's not even in at the reunion. She's not coming back, honey. Maylee did such a poor job. They didn't even give her the day rate. They gave her $50 and a bus pass. They didn't even give her $50. They probably gave her a $50 Visa gift card. Y'all said, who's Maylee? Oh my gosh. You said you forgot about her, honey. They gave her a $50 Visa gift card and a bus pass, honey. You said a gift card to Nordstrom. Oh, goodness. Child, exactly. Who exactly? Y'all said who? Y'all said who? Y'all said who is she? We don't know her. Oh gosh. They gave her a Chick-fil-A gift card. Okay, they gave her a Chick-fil-A gift card, a bus pass, and maybe she got $15 for a gas card. Or maybe they probably got her a $50 in scratch offs. Y'all said a gift card and a shot of Vita tequila. You know you're wrong. You said a one-way bus ticket home. Lord have mercy. Oh gosh. They gave her an Uber card back home. Oh my goodness. Child. Y'all said they gave her a per diem and a Starbucks card. You know what? They probably got her a sandwich from Starbucks and and a frappuccino, honey, and sent her right on her way. Oh my God! You said she's returning her clothes, so you already know. Oh goodness! Oh my goodness, child! They probably held her hand to let her know when because she the last time we saw her was at the bat mitzvah, and she only had about 2 seconds of time in that episode. Child, they said we had to cover your glam already. Bravo said we'll drop you off, but you got to find your way home, your ride home. Y'all are not right. They said thank you for your services. Oh gosh. Kudos to Brittany for doing whatever she needs to do to stay on the show. Exactly, honey. Brittany said, honey, I'm getting my $1,200. Brittany said, I'm getting my $1,200 plus my free gas card and craft services. Maylee, honey, they gave her a bus ticket home. They gave her, honey, the mega bus. She's on a mega bus. They couldn't even give her Greyhound. She's on a mega bus with a Dunkin' Donuts gift card and a Panera Bread gift card for $25, and that's that. Oh, you're not right. You ain't right. She got a month of Paramount Plus. Y'all are too much. Y'all, please leave me alone with this. Not Paramount Plus. Wait, a gift card that can only be used on Tuesdays. Damn. What kind of gift card is that? Oh my goodness. Everybody in the tri-state, honey, all my New York, Jersey, Connecticut folks, you know, they probably gave her one night at Atlantic City. Y'all said a Peacock subscription. Honey, she probably got a gift card to Chili's and Applebee's, honey. And they gave her that free bus pass. Child. Oh, y'all are not right. You said Paramount Plus is generous. They paid my girl in a fresh cup of boiled peanuts. Damn. Y'all said boiled peanuts. What's wrong with y'all? Guest list at the pool in Harrah's. She got a free gift card for Peacock so she could watch the 4 episodes she was on. Baby, y'all are whacking her. Why are y'all doing this? Let Maylee have her edges back. Y'all have this girl by her edges. Why are y'all being so mean in this chat? Y'all said boiled peanuts. Oh my gosh. Child, y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right. Damn. Oh, they real cheap with it. They gave her a Bravo mug and a shirt that says Mazel. Damn. Child. Y'all say get her again, chat. Oh my goodness. Y'all are too much. Y'all are in rare form today. But yeah, honey, I hope Maylee, was it worth it? Because that's my thing. I feel like it's not really worth it if you can't be a full-time cast member. If you're going to be a friend of, you need to be a friend of like Marlo Hampton was on Atlanta or Brittany this season of SLC, because Brittany's coming back and she's going to get paid a cute little coin. But I feel like it's not worth it because that's embarrassing for Maylee. Maylee, I mean, she was only on the Milwaukee trip. We saw her in a total of 4.5 episodes. She did not make a splash. She said a total of 10 words. Like, that's embarrassing. They didn't fly you out for the reunion because let's talk about it. Jazzy on Potomac, they flew her out for the reunion. She was there. So it's like Jazzy was in more episodes than Maylee was, and she's getting flown out to the reunion, and they couldn't even fly Maylee out. Like, that's really sad. Yes, Brittany took her place and made sure to leave an impression. Exactly. You have to do that. A flop. Exactly. She was a flop. Y'all are in rare form, honey. This chat is cutting up. Child, y'all are terrible. Y'all said she got boiled peanuts. Wait, what? What's tea? Allegedly, she made transphobic posts, so they cut out her scenes. Damn, Maylee, you see how you messed yourself up? Look at you, girl. Look at you. Now you getting paid $25 and a megabus ticket because of your dumb actions. You see that? Well, Jazzy made her presence known at least. That's true. That's true. Ciao. Oh, you said she got the $5 biggie bag from Wendy's. Oh my God. Oh yeah, she didn't. Maylee baby didn't even get the Bravo mug or t-shirt now. Oh, you know, Andy snatched it right back out of her hand. She got nothing. On Watch What Crappens, they said she said something transphobic. Oh damn, Andy don't play that. Oh, baby. Oh, Maylee, you messed yourself all the way up, girl. So yeah, you can kiss your Bravo dreams goodbye. And they probably took your check back too. They probably took the check back. You probably had to pay them back the money, the $50 they gave you. Probably had you and your husband's account overdrawn, a mess. Child, a hot mess. She got a year subscription to Peacock. They didn't give her that. They probably gave her a week. Child. Yeah, listen, Andy is the wrong one to play with that. The only person I feel who got away with that, that was back in the day. That was Marlo. Remember when Marlo said the F word? Remember that when she got mad at Sheree and said that's why you hang out with you? Remember that? And then Andy was like, and she apologized. I mean, honey, Andy had her begging, and he forgave Marlo, and that's why she was on the show as a friend of for like 12 years. But baby, he made sure he was gonna get that apology. And Marlo was scared of that. She was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. I apologize. I said, Child. She exposed herself on the way to the bus stop. Oh my gosh. Y'all have me screaming. Oh damn, she's probably at the bus stop now, waiting for the bus to come and take her back to Utah. Oh my gosh. Didn't Erica say the word to Andy's face? Yes, but she said it in reference to, she was repeating what Kathy had allegedly said when they were in Aspen. Even though she could have just said that word, she didn't have to say it, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Andy he wasn't mad because she was repeating what somebody said. Hey, Monique Johnson, thank you for the super chat. They threw Maylee some bottled water and told her to beat feet. Scram, get out of here. Honey, Listen, they didn't even throw her any bottled water. They probably threw her a can of soda. They probably gave her like a flat bottle of like Coke or something and say, "Here you go, girl." You know how when soda gets flat, it gave her one of those and said, "Here you go," and a dried up sandwich from 7-Eleven. He wasn't mad that Kathy said it though. I mean, Andy did not press Kathy enough. And also Kathy was denying it. I mean, think about it. Who's going to admit that? And Kathy was very much of nobody recorded me, so nobody can really prove what I said. I think that had Lisa Rinna or Erica recorded her, this would have gone a different way. But because nobody recorded her in that club, we don't know till this day. We can only hope that they lied on Kathy. But the jury's still out on what Kathy did in that nightclub. We know that she showed her ass to the DJ, but we just don't know what was said because that club does not allow you to record, and nobody thought to secretly record her. But yes, Andy does play favorites, exactly. He plays favorites, and on top of that, yep, he's obsessed with Kathy. So he would turn a blind eye, and it's like, you know what? She didn't say it. Or even if he did think that she said it, he's not going to press her about it. Yep, there was a whole investigation. I bet Kathy uses other words too, but I'm gonna mind my business. Well, if you read The House of Hilton, the mama allegedly, she didn't take too kindly to, if you weren't white and rich, she didn't really care too much about you. I'm gonna say that. Yep. Paris called. Remember when they had that video footage of Paris calling those black girls the N-word at the club? She was like, "Oh, you guys must be from Compton, you dirty." And then when people dug up the videos a few years ago, she gave that weak ass apology saying, "Oh, I was young. I didn't mean that. I don't know why I said that. I was drunk." But she said that with her chest. These beautiful black girls in the club, they're not even bothering her. They were minding their own business. She walked up to them and was like, "You dirty, go back to Compton." Can you imagine? Yes. And she's also said that slur too. She's also said the F slur too. She has said that. They have video footage for her saying the N-word and that word too. So yeah. You can look it up right on YouTube. No wonder why Kyle was being so microaggressive to Garcelle with that charity situation. That's why when Garcelle told her, when you say things like that about Black people, you make us look bad because people have that stereotype of us, and she just sat there looking stupid. I was so heartbroken. I used to love Paris. I saw the video of her saying the N-word. Bothering those Black women for no reason. I don't like how Andy asked Uba if she got things for free because she's Black. Well, in the context of it, he was being funny because she said, "Well, I get things because," she said, "What, I'm hot and Black." And then he said, "Oh, well, do Black people get free things?" And then Raquel jumps in and says, "Well, I think she means that if you're hot, you get free things." And then Uba's like, "No, like I'm hot and Black." So I think that Andy was being funny. I don't think that Andy meant it like that. I think that Andy was, because Andy likes to be funny and shady. He meant it like that. Like he was not, I'm being real honest. I don't think that Andy was saying it in that way. He was being funny because Uba was being funny. Yeah, he definitely did not mean it like that. And Andy is not a dummy. Andy's not a dummy. You would say what you want about him. He would not be so dumb to say something, crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was in jest. Exactly. And that atmosphere with Bryn is inappropriate. Yeah, I understand that, but Uba started off the joke first, and then he jumped in and made a silly joke. Bryn wasn't even in the conversation. Well, no, Bryn, he wasn't talking to Bryn right then. He was talking, it was between him. It was a cute little joke between him and Uba. Yeah, I'm not reading too much into that because he did not mean it like that, in my humble opinion. Andy's really careful about what he says. Yeah, he is. Now, I saw that, yeah, the way black women have been putting money in his pocket, I don't think he meant it like that. Yeah, no, he didn't. That was purely in jest. That was fun because I even chuckled when he said that. I laughed. That was cute little banter back and forth. I didn't feel any way about that. Since we're talking about New York, I might just do a double live recap for both of the reunion parts. Maybe the following Sunday. Okay. And then for Atlanta, I know that Bravo dropped the trailer for Atlanta today. I have a few thoughts about it. I'll probably do like a little standalone video about it. And then for the Potomac looks, the reunion looks, I'll talk more about that in depth in the Potomac recap coming up for the finale. Okay. So you'll get like a whole bunch of other little videos coming soon. But guys, I've kept your time. I've kept you guys for a long time. So I'm going to end things right here, but I hope you guys have fun. Did I miss any super chats? Okay, I read all the super chats. We're good. I want to say thank you to all the moderators. You guys do a great job, as always. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you guys have fun. I had a great time. The laughs are needed, especially with what we're going for all my, if you're in the US, we need all the laughs that we can get with all this craziness going on. So I hope that, I can give you a laugh. You guys always have me screaming. The chat is always lit. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have fun, and I will see you all later, okay? But I love you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all for Potomac. All right, bye, guys.